Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2024, and we have tonight Tahj Glemaud here with the Awakening Podcast. How are you doing this evening, Tahj?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Good. So, before we actually get into the scope of what the Awakening Podcast is all about, because that is what everyone is dying to know, we want the viewers to know a little bit about the host. So, in your own words, can you just give us a little brief overview of who is Tahj?
Who I am overall, I'm a natural born leader. I think God has chosen me to be a representation at a young age. I'm 26 years old, and I am a man. So to me, God has chosen me to be His representation to not only to older men, but men my age and younger to walk the right path.
Okay, so Tahj, can you give the viewers a little bit of your background history, your upbringing, and things of that nature?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York, raised by a single mother. My biological father wasn't really in my life. My stepdad came in the picture later on in later years. When I was 8 years old, he took up the role to help raise me. In New York, I went to PS 149 preschool, and I graduated from there, went all through 5th grade. Went over to IS 292, which is like directly across the street. New York is like big but still small when it comes to schools. IS 292 was a junior high school, and then I left there, and then I thought I was gonna actually do high school up there. But then my mom decided we needed a more calmer life, and we moved to Florida in 2013. I enrolled into Dr. Phillips High School. Went to school there for 4 years. I did football, wrestling, was mainly focused on sports and my time there at Dr. Phillips.
Okay, so you mentioned that your biological father was not really in your life, correct?
Correct.
So who would you say has been your biggest inspiration in life?
My biggest inspiration would be my mother and my stepfather and my mentors. Now I come to have 4 mentors. I have my pastor, Andre Neal, Anthony Dawkins, Elder Scott, most likely Kendall Edwards, my father. So I'm gonna start off with my dad, my stepdad. At first, me and him never really used to see eye to eye. We used to bump heads a lot. I used to challenge him, being a teenager growing up. But I've learned a lot of things from him. I've learned how to be a man, how to build things, how to fix things, how to show love and compassion in certain things in certain ways that I thought was wrong, or I thought was just too punkish for a man to do. So Andre I met him through my mom, through a church service I went. He has been my spiritual support. Like, he's brought me closer to God with his messages and really opened my eyes to what God has in store for me. Kind of like make me want to seek God more and find my calling and my purpose through God. My other mentors are just recent people I've met, but they have been my rock when I needed to counsel of what I should do as a man and what I should do in life and how I should go about things, even dealing with my relationship. I may have my own input of what I think a relationship is, but as married men, they have shown me a different view of things through the godly aspect and through a manly aspect of how I can make changes.
So, given that you've grown up without your biological father in your life, especially with you being an African American male, how important do you think it is for young men to have someone in their life that is heavenly, that they are heavily influenced by?
It's a very big importance to have a male figure in your life. They say your mother can only raise you and train you in certain things so far, but when you get to a certain age, it's really the man that's in the home that really makes a man a man. A woman can't make a man a man.
So, Tahj, can you tell us what exactly is the Awakening Podcast?
The Awakening Podcast is a podcast I created to interact with people, to awaken your gifts in God, and to help you to understand you're not alone. Many people go through trauma, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, but no one talks about it, and it's hindering your progress and your growth in God.
So you mentioned people experiencing pains and traumas. Is that what led you to start the Awakening Podcast? Like, what was your inspiration to creating this movement?
My inspiration for starting this podcast is a meanings to a higher calling, to help people, to relate to people, to let them know that you're not alone. I'm human just like you, and I go through the same daily problems just like you do. I've experienced the same things you have experienced. I've been homeless. I've been jobless. I've had a good job at one point. I've been let off due nasty people, nasty workers, and employers too.
So it sounds like you've been through quite a bit. So I want to ask you, what impact are you intending to make with this Awakening Podcast?
My biggest thing is I want to relate to my viewers and reach people to let them know if I can do it, you can do it too. It's never too late to awaken or define your purpose in God. And nothing with God, all things are possible. And I just want my viewers to be able to make themselves greater and better through my Awakening Podcast. Hopefully when you relate to other people, to me, it'll awaken something in you and help you manifest your gifts in God.
So you mentioned a lot about wanting to help people reach their awakening. Is there a specific target audience that you're trying to reach with this podcast?
My podcast is for everyone. Anyone that tunes in, boy or girl, man or female. But I mainly want to reach out to the young men, or young men that I feel that they need a lot more help than women. Men don't never share their emotions or feelings, or no one really knows what they're going through. I know I didn't at first. I never shared my feelings, not even with in my relationship. I have never shared my feelings. I've always been a tightly closed person. But I just want to be a representation to men now that I'm a man. I'm young. I'm 26, and I'm open to discussing my feelings to my viewers and what I've experienced. And you're not alone. If I'm a man, you can do it just like I can do.
So you did mention that you're only 26 years old, correct?
Correct.
So that's still fairly young. And I'm sure the viewers are wanting to know, and myself specifically, when was the moment in life that you decided you wanted change? Better yet, at what point in life did you yourself have your awakening?
My awakening happened for me in a tragic time. About 2 years ago, I had some people that tried to kill me. They tried to kill me over a female that I was seeing at the time. I thought this relationship, like I was nothing without this relationship, and I didn't learn my lesson. It almost cost me my life, and it led me to, when everybody falls short of grace or they feel like they're in need of saving, they run to church. Well, I was one of those people. I ran to church. My mom introduced me to Pastor Andre Neal and immediately started praying for me and stuff. It's just so crazy how things happened. I was used to use my emotions to guide me and react off of anger and pain. But at that moment where I was about to lose my life, it's just things like, what did I do with my life at that moment? No one that you wanted to help you, that warned you that these things would happen, would actually want to help you because you put yourself in that predicament. I remember at that time, my mom and my dad, they didn't want to help me at that time because I was putting my brother's life in jeopardy. I felt like I was all alone, and the only person I could turn to was God, and I started praying. And then soon after, I just kind of realized I need to change my life and turn it around.
So I think it's quite amazing that you were able to take some of your trials and tribulations and your pain and to turn them around for good, because oftentimes we as people, we suffer from a victim mentality and a woe is me and why is this happening to me, not realizing and understanding that the things that happen to us are actually happening for us. So I want to ask you, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, that you believe that hindered you from having your awakening sooner than you did?
I would say the big three for me would be that hindered me was my anger, my ability to always want to do things on my own, that don't want to listen and take telling from my elders, me also playing the victim role and blaming everybody else for my own actions and what I put myself in. Like a lot of things I required help in, and to get out of my nasty situations, I put myself in those situations. And a lot of men deal with whether they're right or wrong and who to blame and who not to blame. But if you really take a picture and just look into yourself and just say, I am the reason why this is happening and I need to change something about myself, and then God's right there with you. God is there through every single thing you've been through. You just have to be there to call on him.
So it sounds like a lot of your hindrance had to do with the lack of accountability, if I'm hearing that correctly.
Yes.
So can you give your audience just a few pointers that they should be aware of concerning how they too can have their awakening? Because I do understand that everybody's path is different, and we all our journeys are not the same, and things happen at different times in people's lives. But one of the things that I often hear about people who decide to make a complete shift is that the only regret that they have is that they wish they would have done it sooner. So what piece of advice do you want to give to your audience about how they can too have their awakening, just a little bit sooner?
My advice to my viewers is, not every advice you get from elders is bad advice. They don't always do everything right. I don't always do everything right. You don't always do everything right. Be open to change and suggestions. Don't be controlled by your emotions, and listen to learn, not to respond. Like, it's easy to rebuttal when someone's talking, but you don't really listen to get the lesson out of what they're saying. They're older, they've been down that road long ago. Maybe they know something that can help you. I'm not saying that they're always going to be right and the way they say things or the way they do things, but you can take key pointers from them and learn from them.
Okay, so just 3 points really quickly. What are the ways that individuals can reach their awakening a little bit sooner?
Listen more, be open to change, and control your emotions.
So you had mentioned that this podcast is really for anyone, but you're mainly trying to target younger men who, experienced trauma and they haven't really had anyone to express their emotions with. I wanted to ask you, why do you think your target audience should be interested in what you have to say?
I may not be for everybody, but I'm for somebody. Anybody that's willingly wanting to change and wanting to make a difference, like me, would want to watch my content. It's not just about admitting your wrongs, but finding yourself and knowing that you're not alone and there's somebody out there like you who's been through what you've been through, and they're trying to make a difference.
Okay, so there you have it, everyone. Really quickly, for all of the viewers who are watching, let us know where and how people can find you.
So you can find me on Facebook as Tahj Glemaud, Tahj Tahj, and last name Glemaud Glemaud. And you can find me on Instagram at Tahj_Glemaud, and then on YouTube at The Awakening Podcast.
Now, last question for the day. Do you have any last words of encouragement for your audience?
No matter what, God loves you regardless of your situation. Life is precious, so enjoy every moment. Thank you.
So there you have it, everyone. Tahj Glemaud, The Awakening Podcast. He gave you the handles. Instagram, that was Tahj_Glemaud. Facebook is also Tahj Glemaud. And YouTube is The Awakening Podcast. Now, please let the viewers know how often they can expect to see you behind the screen.
Viewers can expect to see me once a week, and I will be posting shorts.
So thank you very much for letting the audience know who Tahj Glemaud is. Just letting us get a little feel, a bit of a feel of who you are and what we can be expecting to see. It was very nice sitting down and getting to know you.
And thank you for tuning in with The Awakening Podcast by Tahj Glemaud.